Now, the leadership of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, has frowned at what it calls the deliberate attempt by the police hierarchy to give the Rivers State Commissioner of Police undue powers to allegedly undermine that of the Governor of Rivers State. The interim National Publicity Secretary of the party, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said in Lagos today that the APC is worried about what it calls about the events in Rivers State and will therefore want a quick intervention to stop any further disruption of law and order.
From our own understanding and our reading, the Commissioner of Police in Rivers State is a law unto himself, and he reports only to Mr. President and probably the First Lady, clearly.
And not to the IG?
I don't think so, because don't forget that both chambers of the National Assembly passed separate resolutions asking for his transfer or removal. The Labour Congress issued an ultimatum, but clearly this man's powers supersede all of this.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 10, and I'm now being joined by Professor Segun Awoniyi, former Vice Chancellor of the Tai Shonari University. You're welcome to the news at 10. Thank you for finding time to join us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Now, it was meant to be a rally by a group known as Save Rivers Movement, but as you already heard, the State Commissioner of Police said it was stopped because the organizers had no permit to hold such an event, even though those on the other side insist that there is freedom of association. What do you make of this?
Well, it's a gradually unfolding scenario that started a long time ago, and where you have, technically speaking, two chief security officers. On the one hand, you have a de jure chief security officer in the person of Mr. Governor, and you have a de facto chief security officer in the person of the State Commissioner of Police. Both the security officers should normally cooperate, but it's a shame when both of them are going different ways. Ordinarily, there is no problem if a political party or agents of a party apply for a permit to hold a rally. But what they, because I also listened to what the State Commissioner of Police said, he said they applied for a permit to hold an empowerment program. But of course, we also know that most empowerment programs by politicians are also pseudo rallies. So where there is understanding and cooperation, he will also understand that. But because the situation between the two had already degenerated, it was a shame that it got to that level.
Degenerated beforehand, you mean?
Yes. It's a shame that it got to that level. And I get scared for the state, really. Because what is happening now in Rivers State is an ill wind. And an ill wind blows no one's good. At the end of the day, the PDP in that state will suffer. The emerging APC would also suffer. And of course, ultimately, the people of Rivers would even suffer more. And that's a shame, really.
That brings me to my next question. For some time now, the several clashes between the police and the Rivers State government on the one hand, and the APC and the PDP on the other hand, and then, of course, the Rivers State House of Assembly. Is this good for our democracy?
I'm afraid it's not. You see, the missing dimension is expediency. For example, Governor Amaechi did something that I thought was smart, for instance, because he knew that the House of Assembly has been shut down. He then felt that ordinarily he should present his budget in the sacred chambers of the House, because it's a matter of law. But he invited them to Government House to do that. That was political expediency. If people also want to organize rallies, know that you have an unusual situation, then some of the expediency could be woven into the process. Nothing stops, for example, the organizers physically going and explaining that they want to have a rally. Nothing stops them. And if, of course, the State Commissioner of Police then refuses, it will be overt. That's the case of an abuse of power or overzealousness on the part of the police. I sympathize with the police that, yes, they want to be seen to protect people, but they may also do it with a human face. And and when it now gets to a level that people are accusing, that people are being shot or not, whether it's rubber or it's non-rubber, that is very dangerous. We are really descending low, and when things get to this level, that's why I say I'm scared for the state. I hope they are not pushing in the direction of calling for the National Council of State. Who knows? I hope they don't end up with an emergency.
Permit me to interject. Police said nobody was shot. Now the talk of live bullets. Of course, that in those cases, injuries could be fatal.
Well, but we also saw that at least some person was injured. A senator was injured. We saw a medic, or a physician, or a medical doctor attended to that person. So it means there was some form of physical injury. How is, of course, the normal thing now is that in a very, very decent society, there should be proper investigation. Whether in actual fact it was a rubber bullet or it was some other form of energy that was applied that resulted in injury. That should be found out. But I'm afraid people will just talk over this and then we'll have a repeat. And as I said, it gets me scared.
Keeping in mind all the factors that have been playing out in River State politics, with the APC, the PDP, the federal government, the Commissioner of Police. The government is supposed to be a government that caters to the needs of the people, providing the dividends of democracy. Is there time for that to happen now? How do you feel that the government is doing its job with all these issues for River State?
Well, I'm afraid we're gradually moving from a phase of governance to a phase of politicking. And when politicking affects governance, it's not good for the people. Unfortunately, the governance structure itself, people moving around from A to B or B to A, and all of that we see all over the place. Each time I listen to a story, I just have a sigh, and I remember the good old poem between Tulidi and Tulidum, because people are just moving around circles for convenience. Kind of political music chair, really.
What is the way forward beyond these clashes?
First, the Inspector General of Police must get the State Commissioner of Police to sit with the governor in Rivers. They're matured people, both of them should sit, both of them worry about security. As I said, one is de jure, one is de facto. Yes, de jure you have all the law, but if you do not have the actual thing, you cannot perform. And so both of them must come together in the interest of the people of Rivers State. Because even if you move the commissioner around and you bring another commissioner and it's still the same scenario, you're not solving the problem. So both of them must realize that they have a people to protect. They have a people to protect, and they must do it in the way that, yes, politics can be practiced, but practiced with ease, and so that security is not breached on the one hand, and there is also maintenance of peace on the other. And people, of course, must exercise their constitutional rights to express themselves.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the News at 10.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I've been speaking with Professor Segun Awonusi, who is a former Vice-Chancellor of the Tai Shunari University. To other news, the President, Goodluck Jonathan, has again warned he has again warned the youth and politicians not to spill blood in the name of politics. He also cautioned those he called overambitious politicians, especially senior citizens, to desist from making inflammatory statements, insisting that the country should be above all other interests. The President was speaking in Abuja at the year's Armed Forces Remembrance Day celebration.
2014 Armed Forces Remembrance Day. In attendance were President Goodluck Jonathan, the leadership of the National Assembly, Chief Tony Aneni, Secretary to the Federal Government, 7 ministers, service chiefs, Nigerians from all divides, and members of the diplomatic corps. Archbishop Oche of the Methodist Church brought a question for the congregation bordering on how to keep Nigeria one in the midst of daunting challenges, including politics and the need to allow 2015 to take care of itself.
If we all agree that the Most High God rules in the kingdom of men and gives to whom he wills, then why are you fighting? Why are you trying to trouble the nation? Why are you frightening the citizens? Why are you putting in our minds to say that 2015 will be blood year?
A food for thought for Nigerian politicians, and President Goodluck Jonathan acknowledges that
the peace of Nigeria is more important than the interest of any individual or group of individuals. Sometimes people will even preach hate and even encourage young people to take arms and fight themselves and kill people. I always say, even as a politician, that any ambition I have at any time is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. I will never, ever expect a Nigerian to spill a drop of his blood because Goodluck Jonathan has some vision or has some dreams. No. And I pray that all politicians should know that there will be no nation if we kill ourselves.
there were prayers covering the president, all arms of government, peace in the country, and all that dwell in it. And for the Senate president, fair play should also prevail in this game of politics.
I accept what the clergy has said. We should play the game in the proper form, not a do or die, and we should make sure that we play it according to the rule.
The Christian Faithful depart the National Christian Center with one thing in their mind, that this kind of celebration reinforces the fact that the death of the fallen heroes is not in vain. It also serves as an encouragement to the serving personnel to continue to dedicate their lives to the service of their fatherland. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.